Welcome back to the Save It for Parts channel. People often ask on my comments, on Reddit, on emails, everywhere else, where do I find all my free and cheap satellite dish hardware? Right now I'm working on a slightly smaller dish, but people especially ask, where do you find the big C-band dishes, the 6 foot, 8 foot, 10 foot, really big, old, ugly dishes that people used to have in their yards? Well, a lot of people still have them in their yards and they'd love to get rid of them. So you can go on Craigslist, you can go on Facebook Marketplace, you can ask around, and you can actually post want ads. If you don't see one listed for sale, you can go on one of those platforms and say, hey, I'm looking for a free dish, I'll come and remove it for you. You'll be surprised how many people suddenly remember they have one in their yard, or their grandparents have it in their yard, and they want it gone. So just because there isn't one listed for sale in your area doesn't mean they're not available. Now, I've been collecting a few of these for a while. I have yet to actually set up any of the really big ones. That's going to be a project for the near future. In the meantime, let's look at some that I picked up for free from a couple sources recently. Here's the C-band satellite dish I just got. I don't know if I'm going to use this right away, but I figured I'd film it and then use this for footage in a future video. Had to go and take this off of somebody's post in their backyard. It was free. Also had to fight some wasps that were living in the L&B unit. And this is about a 7-foot diameter dish, so hopefully it'll let me pick up a few more signals than the old K-band dish will. It's got a few dents and dings. It's been through a hailstorm at some point and a few little holes, but otherwise it's in pretty good shape. So one of the positives, or possibly negatives, of having a YouTube channel where I reuse weird junk is that people offer me stuff for free, including TV stations offering me their old satellite dishes. So I'm up on a roof here. It's a little bit wintry today because we finally had some snow. But yeah, we're looking at how to take down this big dish, and I'm not actually sure if they want the little dish gone too, but it seems like we're gonna get one or both of these satellite dishes. So as usual, it looks like there are wasps in it, so probably winter is the best time to get this down. All right, our week of winter ended. It is late February and it's 70 degrees out, so we're back on the TV station roof grabbing this giant dish. We got to figure out how to unhook all the wires and then we can start taking it apart. This one will not fit on my car roof. It is about 10 feet in diameter, so we're going to have to take it all apart and see how much will fit in the car versus some of it might have to go on the roof still. I don't know if this motor works, but yeah, it'd be cool to get this whole structure, but I don't think I really want to unbolt it from the wall of the building. So this is the special WASP edition LNB that gets you extra signals from the WASP people out in space. You can tell I care a lot about the condition of this car, especially the paint. I take very, very close care to not scratch the paint on this thing. Yeah, I'm just not a car guy. I don't care about the things. Cars are for hauling other stuff that's more important. Okay, so here is big dish number 2, nestled underneath big dish number 1. So number 1 is about a 7-footer, 6 or 7-footer, and this other one is a 10, so a lot bigger. And I've not gotten all the parts to fit over there. I still have this mounting frame over here with the motor on it. Still don't know if that motor works. I should test that. And I do have a motor, the black dish. It's under there. That one's pretty old, so I don't know if that one works. But it'd be nice to be able to set those up together and have 2-axis motor control. And I've also been hoarding all of this stuff, which I can't remember if I've shown on a prior video. So these are the drives for those motors, the satellite positioners. So various devices that will move the dish back and forth. If we've got 2 motors, I guess I could flop one of these and have one of these be the up-down, one be the back and forth. I don't know what this one is. It's some other sort of controller, and that actually has a position sensor, which seems promising. And then we've got these like earth station receiver, stereo adapter. Don't quite know what those are. Yeah, these were all like $5 each at Axeman, so I definitely couldn't pass them up, even though I don't know how to use them. This one has a sensor, controller, and drive, but I don't know that we have the controller for it, unless one of these other units interfaces with that. I think this one here actually does have similar, but not quite the same plugs, so not quite sure how to use either one of these because these plugs aren't really labeled. This one is somewhat labeled. We have motor, ground, and sensor, and I think we do have a number of wires going into that motor unit. So this thing is a Venture brand, but the data label is just faded away, so I don't know what model or what voltage or anything else about it. The two wires coming out of the motor are these two wires on this end. So over here we've got coax, we've got dual coax, probably horizontal and vertical, or maybe one's transmit, one's receive, and then we've got this other wire, and that went to another little dingus on the L&B that might be like a heater or something. I'm not 100% sure, but we're not messing with those for now. We just want these wires here that go to the motor. So we've got two big fat ones, which I would think are voltage, and then yeah, either 3 or 4 smaller ones, which are probably some kind of sensor. So there might be a position sensor in here that tells the controller how far in or out the linear actuator has gone. The smaller wiring harness here, we have orange, brown, green, and maybe a ground wire. I don't know how or if that corresponds to anything back here. This is a different brand, so it might not be compatible with that thing at all. I'm just going to go ahead and hook up the red and white to the motor. It says 28 volts DC, but it doesn't give me any polarity, so I don't know which one of these is plus or minus. I guess the dish will just go the wrong direction if we get it backwards. I say dish, but the dish is actually over there in pieces, so we're just going to be moving the linear actuator back and forth. Well, west works. I don't think the east button works on the controller here. Yeah, motor runs in both directions, but the little controller here will only give me west. It's possible this would work if I got the sensor hooked up. Looking at this one, it looks like it has limit lights, and that might be what these lights meant on the other one. So that east might have thought that it's at its limit. Not 100% sure how the electronics in here work. I might have to tear this open and see what's in there, or see if I can find an old manual for it someplace. If you're looking for a free dish on the used market, you might be able to get stuff like this for free as well, if the person who owns the dish kept any of the electronics. Sometimes they would have thrown this stuff away years ago and they just never got around to moving the dish. So yeah, you may or may not be able to find this stuff, and if you do, it may or may not work. Alright, well that's all we've got for this video. I'm going to be setting up some of those free dishes soon, actually using them for something and not just adding them to the pile of satellite hardware that I'm collecting. So stay tuned to see us actually do something with those dishes, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.